Hi guys, welcome to Lisa Loves. Today I am doing another horror tag video. This one's been doing the rounds for a few days now. I thought it was quite apt to do it today with it being Friday the 13th. I'm not sure if this video will make it to YouTube today, depends on how quickly I get it edited. But as the moment I've no watch on, it's like 9 o'clock PM, so we'll do our best to get it up on Friday the 13th. This tag, it's the Slasher Tag, and it is from a channel called HORRORman, who I will leave a link in the descriptions below. So, without further ado, we will get into it. So number 1, what is your favourite standalone slasher? As I watched the other guys' answers to this, I thought, I don't think anyone will mention mine because it's not quite often seen as a slasher movie, per se. I was talking to my husband about this and we're like, well, what constitutes a slasher movie? And we basically come up with anything which has one killer on a rampage, killing more than one person. That makes a slasher movie. So I was going to go with The Shining. One of my favourite films, as most people know. But one of the other lads chose that one. I was like, gutted. I think it was The Last Shoegazer chose that movie. That definitely would have been top of my list. Just to say something else, because I also love it, the movie Maniac. Now there are two versions. There's the original one with Joe Spinell, I think it's 1980, I'm just going to refer. Yeah, 1980, that one's also got Tom Savini in it, and it's got a awesome kill in that one, which I know someone chose as their favourite kill, so I'm not going to choose that. But it was also remade in 2012, oh, my memory's terrible, 2012, yes, Elijah Wood starred in it. It was quite different to the original, but really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I think for the most part, remakes of horrors tend to be pretty naff, but I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was really good. So yeah, I would have said The Shining, but I'm going to say, just for a place of something else, I'm going to say Maniac. Number 2, what is your favourite slasher mask / look? Right, this is dead easy, and it's going to be a lot of people's answer. It's going to be Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. What can you get that's more horrific than a mask made of human skin, really? I mean, and then the one where he has the one with the makeup, where he kills the woman and he's got the lipstick and stuff, it's just freaky as. I also like, I have to admit, the Shatner mask, Michael Myers. I'm sure everyone in the horror community knows that the mask was meant to be a Shatner mask, and it's just been repurposed for the uses of Michael Myers, which, excuse me, I still have a really bad virus. It's just something vacant about it. Obviously it doesn't have eyes and all that, but it's just something a bit menacing. I think the two main ones people tend to think of is Michael Myers and Jason. The hockey mask is a bit... I remember being at a Halloween fancy dress once and someone walked in, quite a big bloke, with a boiler suit and the hockey mask, and it was really imposing. It was really quite terrifying, and I didn't expect to feel that because when I watch the movies it doesn't get to me in the same way, but actually having a presence of a person stood there wearing it that was quite big anyway, it was quite freaky. But yeah, Leatherface. Number 3, what is your favourite slasher movie kill? One of mine got used also in this one, which would have been is it Adrienne from Jason X. The scene where her face is frozen and smashed. That one's just ingenious. It's so original. But again, for the want of saying something a bit different from other people, I'm going to pick, because personally it got to me in a big way. Is this a slasher movie? I discussed this and I decided that because in Saw we have one main killer, okay, I'm going to have it as a slasher. It maybe isn't in the strictest sense of the word, but I'm having it anyway. Saw 5. Not obviously the best Saw in the world, but the pendulum trap. There was a murderer set up in this trap, and I remember his name being Seth. I can't remember what his surname was, but one of my favourite older horrors is The Pit and the Pendulum. There's just something about pendulums that really, really freak me out. And anyway, he's lay on this table, as with Saw, he's playing a game, he has to try and get out and save his own life, and the blade is swinging, obviously, as it does, and it drops in 30 seconds. It drops enough to like reach him, to start to cut him across the middle, and within 60 seconds it will have completely killed him. It will have cut him in half, basically. And the only way that he can escape the trap, there are two little vices either side of his body, and he has to put his hands into these vices and press like a release catch on both at the same time. But when he does this, it means his hands are going to be crushed. So it's a case of, do you deliberately crush your own hands, like knowing this pain's coming and it's just awful, or do you lie there and let something slice you in half? I think I know what I'd choose, but I wouldn't want to have to do it, put it that way. But that in itself, because it was relatively slow, because it was obviously a little slice and a slightly bigger slice, and oh, just the way it was filmed was horrific. It just got to me. Number 4. What is your favourite slasher setting? I am going to cop out with the Overlook from The Shining. It's just the vastness of it, the quietness, the eeriness, the period of time that it's set in, just everything about it. I think it is the perfect setting for a horror movie. I also felt the movie Eden Lake, which is a really, really good but very disturbing movie, the setting of the forest in that, where it's pretty much all set in the forest, it's just something a bit, I know it's used a lot, forests in horror movies, but I think in that one it was quite, because it was so isolated and vast, yeah, I quite like that also. Number 5, who is your favourite final girl in a slasher? That one was very easy for me. That one's going to go to Sally from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think there's something very iconic, obviously, about that final scene with her in the back of the pickup truck covered in blood. You see that still everywhere. I think it's even on one of the movie covers, or the DVD cover. But yeah, she basically saves herself in the movie. She's not the pathetic, ridiculous, fallen over herself female. She manages to get away, and you never think that that's going to happen. You never think that the woman's going to escape. Everyone's going to die, but yeah, I have to go with her. Number 6. What, in your opinion, is the most overrated slasher? This is ridiculously easy for me. Scream. I don't like the Scream movies. The first Scream movie was fun. I've spoken about this bit previously, the kill with Drew Barrymore at the start of the first Scream movie I thought was really shocking, was really well done, was really unexpected, was quite brutal. It was surprisingly good. The rest of the movie, I suppose it's like a light horror version of like an American high school sort of thing, which doesn't tend to appeal to me in for the most part, but yeah, the first one was fun, but after that it just got silly. So Scream. Number 7. There are only 8 questions, by the way, so this shouldn't be too long. What, in your opinion, is an underrated slasher? This one was more difficult because what one person classes as underrated, another person thinks is naff. Now, the 3 that I watched, the 3 HORRORman 80s film fan and The Last Shoegazer, their knowledge about horror is quite in depth, so a lot of the movies that they spoke about I'd never actually heard of, so that's a few for me to look out for. I reverted to quite a few years ago. I did the 72 Video Nasty banned Video Nasty movies. I reviewed all of them myself and someone I used to know. So I sort of thought, right, I'll revert to these. Is there any within there that aren't as well known that I feel should be more well known? Anyway, what I came up with was, this one maybe is well known, the Toolbox Murders, the original 78 version. I thought was really eerie, really atmospheric. The kills were really brutal. It was done very... I find something quite disturbing about when you replace an eerie setting with a murder with something very normal, very, like music in the background, or in one, like the girl's just having a bath, going about her normal business, and it's just something really shocking. And I don't know, Toolbox Murders for me, I thought it was, and the character, the lead character was very complex, very, had a lot of layers going on there. So yeah, Toolbox Murders, the original version. Another one called The Burning. This is a 1981 movie. If you're fans of like Camp Crystal Lake and all that sort of thing, This is very similar. It's not as well known, but it's very much in the same vein as the Friday the 13th movies, as just all that sort of thing. So yeah, The Burning. And the last one I chose here is, I think I'm only supposed to choose one, but I've chose three, is one called Shogun Assassin. This one is a 1980 movie, which when I put on I thought, oh god, I'm going to hate this. It's like Japanese ninja sort of samurai type thing, but it's an amazing movie. If you haven't seen Shogun Assassin, go out and watch it. It's about a samurai with his young infant son who goes out to avenge whose murder? Anyway, he goes out in revenge to find a specific, have I written down what his name is? No, I haven't. And it's just so differently shot. It's really artistic, it's really interesting, it's really brutal. Fight scenes don't drag on for ages, which really annoys me. Two things in movies I hate is really long car chases and really long fight scenes. This is very blunt, very brutal, very, you know, everything's very cut and dry. I really enjoyed it, and it's not the type of movie. Well, I love Japanese movies, I watch a lot of Japanese movies. This one, when it started, I did not expect to enjoy. I really, really enjoyed it, so I would recommend that. Shogun Assassin. Lastly, right, this is a really difficult question for a girl, as far as I'm concerned. What is your favourite gratuitous scene in a slasher? Favourite? I think it's very difficult for a girl to answer that, because gratuitous in Manium we get to see the most amount of flesh, and that flesh is always female flesh, and if you're not that way inclined, it's kind of like, if you're a woman, it's like, oh, again, you know, it's like, okay, let's, you know, let them get on with it. It's titillating for the guys, but for the girls it gets a bit samey after a while. So what I did, instead of choosing my favourite, I just chose a couple of movies that are ridiculous for the amounts of nudity. It's just awful. One, which this one's really weird. There's a scene, it's a movie called Society. It's a 1989 movie, and there's like a, I want to say like an orgy scene in it, and it is the most messed up, just weird, nastiest thing. It's like, oh my god, what am I watching? Yeah, just agog, open-mouthed. It was just a weird, weird, weird old movie. While reviewing and watching the video nasties, I saw pretty much all the Elsa movies, you know, like the She-Devil, the SS ones, just, I don't know, soft porn, ridiculous, funny, just count the amount of, I'm not going to say that because that's vulgar, no. Just let's say women's hairstyling in the years has changed somewhat, that's what I'll say. And the one that I found was the most gratuitous, in my opinion. I know there are loads more worse than this, but they wouldn't be something that I would seek out to watch. But one from the nasties list, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Sallow, also known as 120 Days of Sodom. I think that sort of tells you where we're going with that. That's a 1975 movie. Loads of nudity, and just a bit weird really. Sometimes people just seem to want the excuse to make a soft porn, and they put a horror title on it, which really just make a porn movie, you know what I mean? So that's my answers. Sorry the last one isn't really answering the question, but unless you're going to get loads of hunky fit looking men running about in a horror naked, I can't answer that one. So should I tag people? I am going to tag a few people. I'm not going to tag the people I usually do, because I'm sure they're fed up to the back teeth with this. I am going to tag Monty G, the horror miser Monty G. I hope I've got that right, Lamont. I am going to tag Horror Gal. I am going to tag Al's Horror Shop, Horror Fiend Reviews. I can't think of any more at the moment. Obviously, anyone else that wants to do the tag that I haven't tagged, and I haven't tagged you guys purely because I'm aware I tag certain people a lot, so I haven't again. But if you want to do it, by all means do, and let me know if you do it, because I really like to see your answers. So that is my slasher answers for the tag from the HORRORman. All the information will be below about the people that I mentioned, and I will now get off and try and get this edited and uploaded on Friday the 13th, because I'm somewhat superstitious. So I will see you on the next video, And it's over and out from Lisa Loves.